Hey guys, I wanted to share with you something that I experienced last week that has really kind of just been heavy on my heart for the last few days. But before I get there, I want to just kind of fill you in if you're not familiar with my husband and I. My husband, Troy, he struggled with alcoholism for many years, and about a year and a half ago, he went to a place called the Home of Grace in Van Cleef, Mississippi. It's a faith-based rehab, and he got literally delivered from alcoholism. He doesn't drink anymore, and he's doing very well. He's a completely changed man. Our family's completely different. Our lives are different. Our future is going to be different. And so he literally got delivered from his addiction. And so that's kind of, our background. We also now, we have a ministry called Blessed in the Mess Ministries. And we actually help families that have a loved one that are going through the program at the Home of Grace. We call our class that we teach Fighting for Families. And we literally just give them hope, that, we're a couple that experienced what they're looking for, which is their loved one getting off of drugs or alcohol. So we know that it's possible, and we like to give those people hope, because when you are loving someone who's struggling with an addiction, it is very easy to become hopeless. And so this last week, this experience that I had that I'm sharing with you, I happened to get into a little short, brief conversation with a police officer. I was actually in a hurry at the time. I really didn't have any time to be speaking with him. And he happened to catch me before I got in the car, and he told me, he said that, once an addict, always an addict. That if somebody struggles with an addiction, especially if it's a hard drug like heroin or meth or something like that, that once they're addicted, they're going to be addicted for the rest of their life, that there's no hope for them, that he had just the day before dealt with someone who had been addicted for many, many years, and that person was going to struggle for the rest of their lives. And of course, he doesn't know that I have a ministry where I give hope to families who, feel hopeless. And he has no idea what my experience is dealing with, having a relationship with my husband and having come out of addiction and not being in that bondage. And then, of course, being in the ministry and having a lot of friends and people that I know that have been delivered from hard drugs, that he's sitting here trying to tell me that it's, never going to happen, and it's going to always be a hopeless situation. And being that he was an officer, I did not want to get into a confrontation with him, and I respected him and I listened to him. And then, of course, the fact that I was in a hurry, I did not have time to actually, give him my perspective and my opinion. But I ended up leaving, and the only thing that I did say to him as I was walking away, as I said, well, thank God that there's a God. And because I know what God is capable of, and I know that God can deliver people from addiction. And that was really all I said. And I got in the car and I left, and I was telling my husband, what the guy had just said. And, we tried to see, why he said that, what his perspective was, but it seems like every night since that happened, I wake up about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I can just go over and over in my head what I wish I would have said. And so that's why I feel like I'm going to just share it on here, because I feel like everyone needs to know that there is hope. I don't care what your situation is. I don't care how bad it is. As long as you have breath in you, there is hope. And I felt like it was such it was so disheartening to hear him, someone who is a first responder, someone who, it's his job to help, and he didn't help that situation. Now, luckily, I have enough common sense and background to know that, there is hope and there is help out there. But it infuriates me to think about the next person he tells that to, the next, mother or wife or father that he tells them, your situation is hopeless. You're an addict, you're hopeless. Or, you love someone who's an addict, it's hopeless. The next person he tells that to, may already feel hopeless and may just believe him. He may just put the nail in the coffin for someone to give up on their loved one. And that is just wrong. This man is not God. He doesn't know what God is capable of. He doesn't know the miracles that God can do. You know, he's a police officer. He sees bad situation after bad situation after bad situation. He needs encouragement. He needs to know, look, you can't go around telling people, you know, that their life and their loved one's life is hopeless. It's just wrong. And I see doctors. I've had enough experience. I've seen and heard doctors do the same thing. You know, it's the drug problem that we have in our country is huge, and it is getting worse. And we need people on the front line, like the EMS and the fire department and the doctors in the hospitals and the emergency rooms. We need them to give not only the addict, but the families encouragement and hope. They need to be giving us resources. I know in the hospital, they will give you on discharge, if you've been in there for, you know, some type of addiction or overdose, they'll give you a piece of paper with some phone numbers and some facilities that are local that, you know, you can call and get help. But that is not enough. You know, the addict himself isn't even going to look at the piece of paper, you know. And there has to be more resources given to families in this situation. And the last thing they need is for you to tell them that their loved one is hopeless. You know, that is the last thing they need. So it is, you know, my hope and my prayer that somehow we can bridge the gap here. You know, I know that here locally in Slidell, we're close to Lacombe, which has Giving Hope Retreat, which they give you hope. That is a facility for people who are struggling with addiction and those who have been homeless. And then there's the Mission in New Orleans. This is all David Botner, a friend of mine. He runs the facilities. He has partnered with St. Tammany, well, actually St. Tammany Parish, I believe, more so in the Covington area, but a program called Operation Angel, I believe it is. It's an outreach where anyone who is struggling with a drug addiction can actually go to the police department and basically turn themselves in and say, look, I'm struggling with addiction, I need help. And the police station has worked in partnership to get them some help, to get them taken to there to have hope and to change their lives. And this needs to be everywhere. This needs to be everywhere. Loved ones need to know about that so that when the person that's, you know, strung out on drugs sobers up, they can know, hey, look, there's hope, there's help. Let me help you get help. These families need to know about that, and that is not happening. And so, you know, if there's anything that I'm trying to get across in this video, it is, do not be a hope stealer, okay? Be a hope dealer. Don't always, you know, don't ever say always and never. You know, your loved one's going to always be an addict. There is never hope. You know, those words need to be taken out of your vocabulary. All right? There is always hope, okay? And do not steal someone's hope. That's all we have sometimes. You know, sometimes as a mother or a wife, and you're watching your loved one struggle and they're killing themselves. They're literally self-destructing. We need encouragement. We need to know that there is hope. We need resources. And so the last thing you want to do is tell someone that their situation is hopeless. So I hope that I've given you a new perspective on this. I hope that I've encouraged you. If you feel like you've gotten to a point with maybe some type of struggle in your life and you feel like, you know, it's hopeless, no, it's not. We serve a mighty God, and He is there for you. He wants you to come to Him. He's ready to heal your situation. It is never hopeless with the mighty God that we have. And I just hope that this encourages you, and I hope that this will encourage you to encourage others. And eliminate those words always and never when it comes to somebody who's in a struggle. There is always hope. If anything, there's always hope. Thank you.